Hi everyone, I'm Mehar Sindhu Batra and we are here today to answer all your questions related to studying, working and living in the UK. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. So for those of you here for the first time, I'm a chartered accountant from India and an MBA from Imperial College London, and I make videos on all things related to careers, education, productivity and positivity to help you accelerate your career. And today I have my husband Shashank with me, who has been living and working here in the UK for the last 4 years, to answer all your questions about what it is to actually live and work here. You sent us tons and tons of questions on Instagram and YouTube, and we will try our best to answer them today, right Shashank?
Okay, let's do it. I'm looking forward to answering all your questions. Yeah, more than happy to do it. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's ask you a question about working here in the UK, and what is the corporate culture like here in the UK compared to a place like India, and also have you ever faced any kind of racism here while working?
Yeah, sure. I think I'll answer the second part first. No, I have never faced any kind of racism. That already tells that, or already shows the fact that it's a very positive place to work in, right? It's a nice environment to work in, no doubt about it. Maybe I've been fortunate that I haven't faced racism, but to be very honest, I have a lot of friends in my network who are working in different jobs in London, and none of them actually have faced any kind of racism as well. So that's saying a lot already. From a working perspective, I think we should be very clear that London is a very competitive place, no doubt. From across the world, people want to move to London, and there is a charm about. So when you are in that kind of environment, obviously there is going to be a lot of competition, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of reward as well. And to get that reward, people do work hard. There's no doubt about it. I personally have been in situations where I've been working say 15 hours a day, 16 hours a day. Yes, that has happened. But at the same time, this is not a permanent thing that I do. My work environment or my work hours haven't been that bad as well. There's only phases that this happens. And to be honest, I have faced that in India as well. So if I have to compare the two places, I would definitely say that this is a more positive, more conducive environment to work in, much lesser politics, much lesser bureaucratic. People are nicer and willing to help. The fact that there are nationalities or people from different backgrounds and ethnicities across working in the same environment or the same office brings a lot more to the table as well. And keeping all these points in mind, I think the work environment in the UK is extremely competitive, can get challenging, but is very rewarding as well. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps you really develop a global mindset, right? Because you're working with people from all around the world and diverse backgrounds, diverse kind of thinking that they bring to the table. So like Shashank said, it's not a cakewalk at all. You have to constantly prove yourself, but you're not being judged on the basis of your color, of your skin or your gender. In fact, when I was working, I never faced any kind of racism, any kind of sexism in the corporate world. And now as an entrepreneur also, when I meet people, they're very much encouraging and they want to learn more about my journey, and they're very supportive. So that way I feel there is less negativity here compared to what I saw in the corporate world in India. But it comes with its own challenges where you face imposter syndrome because you're in a room full of people that don't look or think like you, and then you have to constantly push yourself a little bit extra to go that mile to represent where you come from and talk about your culture with pride as well. So, yeah.
No, I agree, and that's exactly when you are eventually comfortable in doing that. Yeah, discussing or putting your own opinions out when the room is full of people who do not look like you or do not talk like you.
Yeah.
That's exactly where you are moving out of your comfort zone, and eventually after a while, if you're comfortable in that zone, you can actually be comfortable in any room anywhere in the world. And whenever I go back to India, the kind of confidence level I have is something that I don't think I would have developed if I would have just worked in India. So that gives you an extra layer of, I think, exposure that brings in that kind of confidence and aptitude and attitude eventually that can take you to
the next
different places.
Yeah. Okay, let's answer the question that was around visa and getting permanent residency here in the UK, and we can share our journey with you as well. So Shashank, why don't you tell everybody, explain the whole process of how it works?
Okay, Mehar, to answer your question, it takes 5 years to get the PR in UK. Just remember, to get on this PR journey, the 5-year journey that I just mentioned, you need to be sponsored by a company in the UK. So you need to have the sponsorship. It's not that you can work on an intercompany visa or different types of visa and still get to it. Yes, there are different ways as well, but I'm just going to focus on the way where you are working in a job and still looking to get to the PR level. Now, after 5 years, you need to stay in the country for 1 more year, which is called ILR, which means indefinite leave to remain. Once you finish this 1-year period, after completing your 5-year PR period, you can then apply for the local British citizenship as well. So that's basically end-to-end how the process looks like. I'm providing you a very brief overview. However, there are specific details inside it as well on each step as to what other measures do we need to think about, need to care about. But we can happily go into the depth if anyone is interested in knowing more about that in a separate video, or if you put your comments in the section below, more than happy to answer it there as well.
So basically, end to end, it takes about 6 years to get the British passport from the date of your joining, your offer letter, the visa sponsorship date, till the date you get your passport is about 6 years if everything goes well and you spend enough number of days in the UK. As Shashank was saying, there are a lot of other factors that go into play. And where we are on our PR journey, we should hopefully get our PR by next year and then our passport by 2024, to answer your question. We saw a lot of personal questions come up as well. For example, is it easy to make friends here? Were we able to make friends here? Do we feel homesick? And to answer some of those questions, I think I'll go ahead, and Shashank, you can pitch in. So yes, we have been able to make lots of friends, luckily, because people here are very friendly, and there's just so much going on that you meet friends of friends and then you become friends with them. So we have a large Indian community where we get to celebrate festivals together. We are there for each other through tough times as well, and be each other's support system and become like friends, like family, basically. So yeah, it was easy to make those kind of friends, and because I studied here, there are a lot of MBA friends that I have as well, and Shashank has a big network because of his work, which he has been able to exploit. And yes, of course, we do get homesick. It's not easy living away from family, and that is home OG. So yeah, we really miss family back home, but we try to see them multiple times a year and keep in touch via FaceTime and WhatsApp calls. So that makes it a little bit easier. I think any country that you live in, if you're living away from your loved ones, will be challenging. But luckily, it's not very difficult to get to New Delhi from London. It takes about 8 hours. So if we do actually ever want to go back home, it doesn't take too long to make that decision, because we can take a flight and be there the same day. So that way it's much easier than compared to, let's say, living in a Canada or parts of the US where it's difficult to go back to your home country. And another question a lot of you asked was whether we are planning to move back to India eventually. Shashank, why don't you answer that?
Well, to be honest, we keep thinking, we keep exploring about different opportunities as to what we can do in the near future, in the longer future as well. But to be very honest, we are not sure about anything at the moment. There are days when we think, let's just move back, let's just leave everything and get our PR and go back to India and settle there. However, there are days when we are very practical, and then we say that no, the life here that we have created for ourselves is actually very much more rewarding than what we can get in India. So why not just stay here for a bit more longer, if not forever? So to be very honest, in our minds, we are very confused at the moment if we are going back to India in the near future or even the longer future or not. However, yes, to be honest, we do keep exploring that option very regularly. What do you want to say about that, Mehar?
No, I think you answered that perfectly well. I don't think we can predict what would happen in the future, but we are happy where we are right now. And the world is our oyster. We may just move anywhere in the world later in life. But yeah, we are global citizens, and that's what we believe to be. Even my business right now is very much India focused, so it's not like we're not giving back to the country in any way. All our investments, a lot of it is driven towards India, and we're constantly trying to make efforts to boost the economy in our small way and through our contributions. So yeah. One final question for Shashank is, any tips on creating a monthly budget as a student or as a working professional here in the UK?
Yes, I think it's a must it's absolutely a must to budget while you are in the UK. It doesn't matter if you're a student, a young professional making money, or even an established professional. Budgeting is and should always be an important part of your life. My biggest tip is going to be, do not focus on just getting the best straight away. Specifically in London, focus on starting small. You don't need to live in the center of the city as an example. You can live outside and you can commute. So for every situation that comes across in London or in the UK specifically, think of it in a way where you can find solutions, and trust me, there is an absolute way of doing that as well. So focus on small things. All of them, when they come together or combine, becomes big. So as a very strong suggestion is to maintain the budget from day one. Have a very good split of how you want to spend your money. Not more than 25 to 30% should go towards your rental and your utilities.
Another tip is watch out for student discounts. There are a lot of discounts happening in the UK. So you can make sure that you are using student discounts for grocery shopping, for buying all your maybe electrical appliances, some of them, as well as some of shopping for clothes. So do keep an eye out if you're a student for any type of student discounts that you can avail, even at restaurants, etc. So that's another big tip from me.
Yeah, deals are extremely important. You will find so many deals here in London. You'll be surprised.
And there were many questions around being a CA in the UK and whether there is a scope for that. Yes, of course, I personally know lots of CAs here in the UK who are managing their careers very well and doing very well, in fact. Whether you want to do an ACCA or not is up to you. If you do want to practice in the UK, then you'll have to take some additional papers. You don't have to take the ACCA exams as such. But yes, it depends on where you want to take your career, which direction you want to take it into. If you want to go into consulting, then a normal CA degree is fine. But if you want to be an auditor or if you want to be a risk manager, etc., then you may want to take additional papers so that you are as per the industry standards here and you are competing with everybody locally neck to neck. If you want me to make a separate video about CAs in the UK, I am very much happy to do that. I have a big network that I can interview and ask them questions that you have. That would be the next video if you're interested. Anything else, Shashank, you want to say to our students and our followers as some last tips and last words?
I think the last thing in summary, I would like to say that do not get bogged down just because the things as you see on the news is very negative, or the economy is currently going through a negative downturn, or you see that there's a political turmoil. Obviously it is the truth, but it's not going to stay in the longer run. Things will change. There's going to be a lot more positive happening in the next few years, if not in the months. However, please make a very informed decision as to if UK is the place for you or not. Yeah, you can obviously choose from so many countries in the Western world. UK has its pros and cons as well. So please make an informed decision, but do not just get bogged down by what you see in the shorter run. That's the last thing I would like to add.
That's a great tip for everyone watching this. Thank you, my friends, for joining us today. I hope this was useful for you. And if you have any more questions for me or Shashank and you want to learn more about his career journey, reach out to him on LinkedIn or through the comments below. We'll try our best to answer all your questions. And we'll be back very soon. You will be seeing Shashank a lot more on my channel, right, Shashank?
Yeah, I hope you like having me on the channel as well. So waiting for your comments.
Oh, wonderful. Great. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for joining.
Bye.